Hey everyone, it's Ivan with KP-15 out here for our first look at some cool stuff by KE Arms, Ballistic Advantage, and more. Right here I have the KP-15, basically integrated lower receiver grip as well as stock. As far as length of pull on this, it is A1 length, which is kind of a sweet spot I think. And there's some obviously really unique things going on with this. For a while, people have kind of made some polymer lower receivers. Some of them have worked, some have worked better than others. And a while back, there was Cav Arms, I believe it was, with their KP-15, which was more or less the same thing, although arguably kind of not as polished or as well thought out. And as we progress in time, moving forward, end up with basically better materials, better manufacturing techniques. So KE Arms ended up in conjunction with, I believe, InRange TV and Brownells, basically releasing this guy. They'll eventually release the What Would Stoner Do rifle, which kind of separate. Maybe I'll touch on it later, but this is part of it. And so incredibly lightweight polymer, basically two sides that are vibration welded together, as I understand it. And you can get them populated with like Mil-Spec trigger, things like that, or some of the, I believe KE Arms has their own cassette trigger as well. But I ended up getting this guy and just looking forward to putting in time with it. So what are we gonna put on top of it? Since I obviously need an upper for this new rifle, I actually reached out to a buddy over at Ballistic Advantage and I was like, hey, this is what I have in mind. What do you think? And he's like, yeah, no, that sounds cool. And as far as what I had in mind, I'm not gonna SBR this thing, at least not right now. So need something 16 inches. Ideally not something super heavy, but I was looking for an adjustable gas block, which I'll get to the reason why in a minute. But so my buddy Jason over at Ballistic Advantage ended up sending this out. And it's all wrapped up. All right. What do we got? Sweet. Wasn't sure totally what to expect, but this will be rad. Looks like it has one of the Aero Precision, I think Atlas 1 rails on here. M-lock. Superlative arms, adjustable gas block, Ballistic Advantage, Geissele Charging Handle, no bolt carrier group, but that's okay. So get this guy on here. Something interesting also about the KP-15 is these pins actually come all the way out and they're retained with that little guy there. That in. So before we go further, this actually comes, the KP-15 actually comes with like carbine weight, buffer, spring, all that stuff. But in the interest of trying out some new stuff, what about an optimized bolt carrier group by SureFire? So this has a bunch of stuff going on that I'm not going to get into right this second, but one of the things that it does have is basically a, I guess, same length of spring, but a shortened buffer. So comparatively, got that buffer there and that buffer there. So as I understand it, one of the things that this will do is allow the bolt to travel further back, basically elongate that cycle, which can potentially help, especially if things are overgassed and moving too fast. And here's this guy, which I should probably put oil on it before I throw it in there. Perfect. Just all over. Just a dab. All right. another takedown pin. All right, we're almost there. So, what are we gonna do here? Well, I have this thing. It's the Acadian Armament Lynx, which is a 5.56 can. Cross threads, tight thread. 5.56 can, and it is rated for 22 long rifle or 5.56. But if you're gonna shoot on 5.56, it has to be a 16-inch barrel. And I'm like, well, for this project right here, that's probably perfect. Wonder if this needs a spacer in there. I probably need a spacer in there, but I'm willing to bet it's probably good to go for now. Since I don't have another optic for it right now, I had pulled this off of something, so we'll throw this on here. It's the Kahles K16i, the 1:6. The Scalarworks LEAP Mount, which makes it really handy. Just tighten this guy down. Ta-da! All right, so Edgar Sherman Design Sling. End up putting it up here on the front, so it's actually attached. Jam up some mags and see how I do with this thing. Cold start, more or less cold start with unzeroed optic. So jam some mags. For the Bear Solutions cold start, you're gonna have a magazine of 10 and a magazine of 3, and it's pass fail, so you get what you get. Let's do this.
1, 2, 3.
All right, let's party. Behind me is the Bear Solutions cold start. For the cold start, you end up firing 5 rounds into one box, 5 rounds into the other box, conduct a reload, which will be a pocket reload, and 3 rounds into that circle. I forget what the par time is. It's something crazy. I don't know if I've ever even met the par time. I think it's like 8 seconds or something. So at any rate, we're about to see what I get. Spoiler, I failed it again. And upside downside, it was too quiet to register. So that happened. So Ivan, what just happened? I failed it again. I ended up getting my 5 rounds over here, transitioned. One of my 5 rounds went into a circle, which is automatic failure. And then I was like, well, I should probably slow down a little and get those hits. So I conducted my reload, and I was holding up high and pretty much dropping them all in right there. So would have it mattered if this guy was zeroed already? Probably not. But yeah, now that I got this thing all together in the configuration it's probably gonna be in for a bit, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing zeroed and yeah, just kind of play around with it some. All right, should have a passable 50-yard zero. I'm at about 40 yards, so gonna play around with it a little bit. Pilot reloads. Still haven't adjusted the gas because I don't want to take the rail off and I have a long tool at home, so shoot a little bit more. Two deeper pockets. I'm liking this. Let's go stretch it out a little bit. There's some steel gongs out here at 100 yards. And another probably 12-inch one at 200, which probably not going to shoot offhand. Try for the little one. Ah, just missed it. What are my thoughts? I think this thing's pretty rad. I am definitely looking forward to putting in more time with it. This thing, I think it's pretty cool. Like, one, just the concept of it. And I'm sure there are people out there like, well, what about if you mortar it, it's gonna break, blah, blah, like on and on and on. Maybe. I don't know. I'll find out. But if you were to take stock and be honest real quick, are you the same person who was like, you can't have a polymer frame pistol, Glock and everyone else, or polymer magazines will never work, P-mags, everything else? Yeah, like I think overall we're just getting way better with materials and as well as just like construction, way things go together, like the way this thing's welded together, like vibration welded, kind of blows my mind. And yeah, I'm excited. Put more rounds through this thing to include this barrel and well, whole upper receiver for that matter, as well as the SureFire optimized bolt carrier group and this little suppressor. So where am I at right now? I need to go home, get the little piece, which I forgot, so that I can put that in there. Basically, it's just a little like shim block. I also need to get the right tool so I can drop it down, adjust the gas. Definitely overgassed right now, which is fine because it's an adjustable gas block. And I'm not sure, it's pretty fun. Like one, this is a beautiful optic as far as clarity. I reviewed it before and it works great, but I've spent much time with it. So I may or may not swap this optic and kind of try something else. We'll see what happens. But overall, definitely pretty stoked on this and looking forward to putting in more time with it. When I do, I'll bring you guys, of course, a full review. But if you appreciate my content and would like to support it, I greatly appreciate it, whether it's liking and sharing videos or picking up like stickers, KBAT target pads over at kitbadger.com, or if you want to support me directly through Patreon, that helps a ton. And over on Patreon, usually try and publish videos early, or at least share them with the Patreon audience early before they actually get published live. And in addition to that, if you have questions, happy to answer them over there. We have a Discord set up. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.